Hey everybody, this is Miss Florida Hot Picks here, giving you guys another Pick 3 workout video. And today I want to share with you how you may want to use triples or false triples if they're running across your rundowns, what you may want to look for, okay? And something very surprising, if you haven't already kept up with my channel, maybe you're new here, but I noticed when you see triples and false triples, they could be an indicator that this is actually a hot list of numbers to play for a few days. Yeah. Literally, sometimes the numbers will come straight across in upcoming days. So I want to share with you a few tips, maybe how to look at a date sum, to kind of figure out when you even may want to play the numbers. But I'm going to give you a disclaimer. As you guys already know, I can never guarantee hits on this channel. So please play responsibly and study. Don't go just spend the money in the store. Make sure you study and you play on paper first. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started with our first state. I want to share with you Missouri. January 27th evening, Missouri had a hit of 179. Now I'm using a 317 rundown. Feel free to use your favorite rundowns and see if the patterns are similar. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to count out a rundown, they're very simple. I'm going to add each number down the columns. So for the first column, we would add 3 all the way down. So 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. For your 2-digit numbers, only use your ones, place your 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. Just use your 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. And 8 plus 3 is 11. Just use your 1. Okay? And then you would add 1 all the way down the second column. 7 all the way down the third column. Okay? Now the cool part is, again, this could be a hot rundown to use for upcoming days, right? But sometimes you may not want to play all of those numbers, or maybe you're doing your own research and you don't see a lot of the numbers, but maybe you see 1 or 2. I love sticking with numbers literally on top of the triples or under the triples, okay? Now, your state's pattern may differ from Missouri, and it's okay. Backtrack when you see these and see if hits were coming off of there to kind of track and see what they're doing, okay? But for Missouri, I noticed right away that there was a hit of 2, 3, 4. Yes. And I'm like, I know you're like, hold on, Miss Florida, I don't see a 2, 3, 4. Well, this is where you need to know what your mirror numbers are, okay? Your mirror numbers are very important, okay? So I'm going to write them down, okay, for you. And I want you to look at something, because a lot of times they may mirror. Like I would use that 793, 317, 248, 862 if you didn't want to use the whole list, right? Again, I like using the whole list, but if you wanted to kind of chop down your options, that could be one way to look at it. But you have to go back in your state's patterns and see if they prefer those areas, okay? So with that said, I noticed the 2, 3, 4 hit. I'm like, well, where is this? Not running straight across. This is where you need to know how to mirror. So mirror numbers are as follows. 0 could be a 5. 5 could be a 0. 1 could be a 6. 6 could be a 1. 2 could be a 7. 7 could be a 2. 3 could be an 8. 8 could be a 3. 4 can be a 9. And a 9 could be a 4. Okay? Why is that important? Why? Because I want to show you how this 2, 4, 8 turned into a 2, 3, 4. Or even a 4, 3, 2, right? Because that was the actual hit. 2, 3, 4. Okay? So your state may like to use numbers on top of the triple or even under, but just remember that when they're on top or the bottom, that they can mirror off, okay? Look at this. That 2, 4, 8 became a 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 2 would be the same digit, right? That 4 would be the same, okay? And that 8 would turn into a 3. That's one way to look at it, okay? But also they have it in the center, which is really cool. So this thing repeated twice. 234, 432. Okay, so that was definitely a hit, which was awesome. Again, pay close attention. I love when they come straight across like that, but sometimes they like to mirror, and I wanted to make sure you guys know how to do that, okay? That way they can't pull a switcheroo on you, okay? Another thing you guys might want to look for is a date sum number. Those triples could be something special, okay? It may let you know when you may want to play the number. So remember, this 179, it hit January 27th. Okay, so like, okay, there's a good list, but when that 248 or 234, when is that most likely to hit, depending on your state's patterns? When we go back, January 29th, we add the month and the date together. We get what? 30, right? 0 or 5 would be our date sum number. Very important. That would be our date sum number. Okay, and that's when this hit. Not every state follows that particular rule of date sum numbers, but look what the date sum number is. It happened to be the triple numbers themselves. So for Missouri, for instance, if you guys see triples or false triples, you may want to use the triple or false triple as a date sum indicator, letting you know this group of numbers could be hot for that day. Isn't that something? Okay. And remember, if you're going closer to the triples, remember they may like to mirror off. So instead of just playing 248, maybe also do the 234. Okay? Okay. One more. I want to share with you Tennessee because I get a lot of questions about Tennessee. January 26th evening, there was a hit of 285. Again, we're using the 317 rundown. Now, guess what? Tennessee didn't have one hit. They had 2 hits. Yeah. Pay attention when you see triples or false triples running across. Now, the first hit was 437. Okay. So remember I told you a lot of hits like to come around the top or the bottom, but sometimes they like to mirror off. Let's look at this 423, right? Now remember, 423 could also be 234, which is the same number, or 437. Is that not 437, honey? Bam! Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now look at the date sum number. It hit January 30th. January 30th, 1 plus 30 would be 31. 1 or 6 would be the date sum number. What is this right here? Is this not the date sum number? So this is letting you know, Tennessee, if you see these, there could be a possibility that the list is hot. You guys may like to stay around, under or over the false trip or triple, and you may want to mirror your options. Don't just play that 423, but 437. Okay, but it also runs 234 as well. Okay, so you would have that 2 ways. The cool thing is the date sum number of when it hit. Date sum was 1. So Missouri, Tennessee, y'all pay attention to that. But they had another hit, and this time it ran perfectly across. It was 432. We have it here as 423. Okay, and this time it ran perfectly where we didn't have to mirror, right? Okay, it came out the next day, January 31st. So that date sum would be 2. Now here's something I want you to pay attention to. Sometimes your state may like to use doubles or mirrors from the middle numbers. Okay, look at what I mean. And hopefully this will help you guys out tremendously because I know it helps me out. I had another marker. Oh well, we'll just use this. Pay attention to this 7-2 here and this 0-5. Anything coming from the centers, pay attention to those numbers. They can also be date sum numbers for triples that run across some states because it happened here. Okay, look at this 7-2. isn't that the date sum number 2? It wasn't the date sum number 1, but if you're using day numbers, that day number 1 could be a possibility too. Okay? So be careful with this stuff, okay? I love using date sum numbers and day numbers, true. And if you can use them, wonderful. But a lot of people, when they see these, they kind of don't know what to do with them. But I realize the actual list is hot, but most importantly, the numbers either on top or on bottom. But the thing is, they may like to mirror off. So hopefully this, guys, will help you out so very much. If this is helpful, definitely give your girl a thumbs up. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Please do so right now. Another thing, if you guys are interested in the Pick 3 exclusive videos and trainings that we have in the membership, definitely consider joining, especially if you're wanting to have the Pick 3 predictions. I have daily lists, a weekly list, and a state-to-state weekly list. Okay, so definitely click that link below. Join us today. All right, I hope this is helpful, guys. Anyways, enjoy, peace, and blessings. See you guys on the next video.